New York City has actually done a pretty decent job of keeping polling places open despite the pandemic. So adding the Barclays Center to be used for voting in late October and early November is more about the symbolism than anything else. But there remains questions to be answered about what the Board of Elections is doing after tens of thousands of people, especially here in Brooklyn, were disenfranchised during the June primary. Unfortunately, election officials walked away when we tried to ask about that in person.
It's critical we come out here just the same way we come out to see Beyonce or Janet Jackson.
And now the Barclays Center, which saw weeks of Black Lives Matter protests following the killing of George Floyd, will serve as a polling place for Election Day November 3rd and early voting beginning October 24th. The Nets are also encouraging their employees to become poll workers.
We are also offering a full paid day off to all of our full-time employees if they wish to go and serve as a volunteer at a polling location.
Using NBA facilities and resources in the upcoming election was a key demand of NBA players when they boycotted games last week after the shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Madison Square Garden will also be used. In fact, New York City Board of Elections head Michael Ryan says using the Barclays was in the works for months.
It really is a wonderful thing.
But New York City's issues during the June primary had little to do with polling places and were more about the disenfranchisement of absentee voters. Tens of thousands of ballots were not sent on time. More than 80,000 absentee ballots were tossed out in the city because of issues with signatures or postmarks. When we attempted to ask Ryan about changes being made to fix this for November, he walked inside Barclays, and we were intercepted by a press person who told us to email her. I don't think it's unreasonable asking questions at this event. We wanted to know why not use the Barclays Center as a well-spaced place to count votes. Counting was slow in June because of COVID. We also wanted to know if the election board was on schedule to implement two key changes state leaders want in November: sending and receiving absentee ballots sooner and making sure the ballot signature line is more noticeable. Apparently, Ryan could not avoid Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, who was also part of today's announcement.
That was part of the conversation we had to decide. He stated that he's building the infrastructure to make sure that happens.
Now, in New York City, early voting locations and regular Election Day voting locations are based on where you live. So you can't just show up to the Barclays Center to vote. We'll put information at pix11.com about how to find your exact polling place, your early voting place, and even how to request an absentee ballot. From the Barclays Center, Henry Rossoff, Pix 11 News.